but you've got guys like I guess that's him right there, right?
In the middle,
That's
in the middle, yeah.
and they're just yucking it up. I mean, they look like they're after a football game. And the disconnect between life and that this was somehow like
We
sport.
can talk about hate and anti-Semitism, but I think it's so important for you to give me this opportunity to talk about the book and about my parents because unfortunately, when people start telling lies and then people start believing lies, you never know where this could end. And I do think that the whole perspective by Nazi doctors was that they thought that they could use Jewish people, twins, as guinea pigs. And on the one hand, it's ironic because my mom survived because she was a guinea pig. On the other hand, there's a whole ethical issue about there were experiments done. Mengele took the research with him. There is some suggestion that there's a place in Berlin that this archival building that still has some of the research. I have forms with my mom and my aunt's name. At one point, just to give you an idea, at one point Mengele injected something into my mom. My mom was mainly the guinea pig. My aunt was mainly the control. And the next day, my mom broke out in a fever with welts everywhere. And Mengele looked at her and says, too bad she's so young. She's got 2 weeks to live. In Indiana, where I grew up, around Halloween, which we're now in the month of October, kids would throw corn at a house and then run to the next house and throw corn and run to the next house. Well, they threw corn at our house, and my mom hears the rattling on the windows and the doors, and she runs out, starts chasing these kids around the neighborhood. The next day, I'm at school and I hear, oh, what are you doing? And when I get done with my homework, you throw corn and Mrs. Course, she'll run around, she'll chase you around. She's kind of crazy. And I heard this. I was, I'm a good hearer, a good listener. And so the next day, sure enough, they throw corn. My mom starts chasing them around the house, around the neighborhood. Things escalate. I can remember about a week later, we came home from a PTA meeting, and on our house were soap, dirty Jew, go home, dirty Jew. I had never heard the word dirty Jew. We didn't talk about this in our house. But I obviously learned very quickly what go home dirty Jew meant. Nobody knew about the Holocaust. I lived in a very Terre Haute, Indiana, very non-Jewish, maybe 200 Jewish families. I was bar mitzvah there. There is a synagogue there, but nobody talked about the Holocaust in 1972 or 3. Now, just so you understand, full circle, the last 15 years of my mom's life, she would be at some place and she goes, I was in Gainesville, Florida yesterday. And this lady came up to me and she said, I was one of those kids that threw the corn, sorry. And she wanted me to forgive her. So, sorry. And in fact, about 2 months ago, 3 months ago, um, I had lunch with a guy who I grew up playing basketball with, and he confided in me